And welcome back here down at Riverside for a women's 35s pool match between Singapore and South Africa, as Singapore crossing for the first try in their first set of 6.
That's right, Georgina Patterson, the try scorer here for Singapore. Acting half going over. Geez, there was nothing in that one. I think the defence came across in time, but the referee disagrees. Georgina Patterson opens the scoring.
And they'll be very happy to open up the scoring. Singapore. South Africa coming 4th in this pool of women's 35s play. So one single pool of women's 35. So they're playing a round robin between each of the teams, and South Africa currently in 4th place and Singapore in 6th place. So everything to play for in the lead up to the finals and getting a favourable finals draw.
Division is very evenly poised as we see Singapore up over the line. Plenty of experience out here too in this South African lineup, as I spoke about earlier. Some involvement with South Africa, and we have plenty of experience, World Cup experience out there. Terry Callis, the number 1, the 6th World Cup. 3 bronze medals in different divisions. Mama 3. He's out there. Currently her team trail. Singapore. A real nation on the rise, the Singapore Touch Association.
Yeah, they've got a great touch structure out in Singapore. As an Australian living in London, we get a lot of players come over who have grown up and through the Singapore schools touch system, and they create some great, great touch players. As my co-commentator delivers me a can of drink after a long day in the commentary box.
We have Singapore working the way off the line after a completed set by the South Africans. There's Terry Callis in making the touch. Still presented South Africa at multiple World Cups in the Women's Opens division, and then stepped up into the senior age groups. Still plying a trade back home. Her daughter's currently playing junior South Africa, junior IPTs, and also stepping up into the women's IPTs back home in South Africa. So with the ball now, she moves it out to the right.
And it's great to see the expansion of this women's 35s division here at the current World Cup. So we've got 8 teams who are fighting it out in the women's 35s. From memory, in Malaysia in 2019, I think it was only 4 teams who competed in the division, including a Eurostars team, a combined Europe team, to ensure that the division took place. So to see the women's 35s grow and double in the space of 4 years, I think it speaks very highly of women players who are staying in the sport, and not just staying in the sport, but competing at it at such a high level.
It's great to see that, and also, as nations go, the players stepping up as they rise through the age groups, and Singapore here. So good to see them taking it to the South Africans, who are pretty fancied in this division. Really working hard for a bronze medal, and they thought they could push for a silver. This is Di Charlton moving forward. Her 5th World Cup. She also plays Masters in hockey for South Africa. So, great sportswoman, all-round sportswoman.
And no New Zealand in the women's 35s division. We have Australia who have come over from the Southern Hemisphere. So a lot of teams fancying their chances at a World Cup silver medal here in Nottingham. You know what, we talk about the growth of the age divisions, and obviously we see players who are staying in, but I think what's driving the growth in the age divisions is the youth players coming through, because traditionally what you might have had is very classy players still playing in Opens level when they were 28, when they were 32.
Absolutely.
And what's happening is we're getting these young players come through and actually pushing age grade players into the 27s-35s. So the growth in youth touch is really leading to the expansion in the seniors and masters categories.
And I talk about Terry being a mum of three with the daughters coming through the ranks themselves now. That's also keeping Terry around or in the game. She's playing with the daughters. She's, contributing to the growth of the sport from a developmental level. And that keeps those players in the game as well. As we see good penetration there from South Africa, just a touch.
Yeah, Tara Nell, straight through the middle. She had some incredible speed. She has a surname with my ex-boyfriend, actually. South African former England player himself.
Yeah, Nell is a famous name over there in South Africa. This is Callis. She picks up and goes. Looks left, comes back to the right. Nice hands. That one goes to ground.
Yeah, nice hands on the last play from South Africa there.
Back to that one-touch scenario. Not played as much with the girls, but they certainly have the skill set required.
Oh, and we can see we're right in line with the South African defensive line, and you can see these shooters getting set on that onside line, super keen to come up and put pressure on the Singapore attack.
It's that pod work. They go up in numbers left and right of the ruck that then creates that, illusion of being surrounded, if you want, and keeps the penetration through the middle.
Absolutely. Alternate defenders shooting up off the line. That was brilliant to see. The energy in that South African defensive line was something else.
Last touch called now, I believe. There's a lot going on in that one. Yeah, that's right. Quick roll the ball on the exchange here for the South Africans. They straighten it up and push through that middle third of the field. That's a good drive. Lee Davis was here, setting it up for the South Africans. Now they move the ball to the left. Jessica Brett.
Oh, lovely play by South Africa here. Ball out to the side. What a play. We had South Africa bringing on fresh legs. There were two attackers out there facing the entire Singapore team themselves. These two ladies here creating chances. And a little runaround by the number 12 from South Africa.
So that's Jean Barrett-Theron. And you might know that name if there's any rugby aficionados at home or watching or around the Federation. Jean is the wife of a famous rugby referee who also played at the last World Cup for South Africa. Jean, a great sportwoman in her own right.
Yeah, Singapore will be disappointed with that try. Just kind of two active attackers in the middle, and I just think they need to be a bit more confident in shooting up and shutting that down a lot earlier as they've got their chance at their South African line.
One apiece here, South Africa and Singapore. Of course, Amy Barrett-Theron, internationally renowned rugby referee. Read both men and women at the highest possible level, test matches. Jean and Amy, formidable sportswomen. Now, here on Nelson Mandela Day, we see the South Africans rolling forward. A little dummy. Probably needed to pull that one in.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen the initiation of the touch there because she had the entire team rolling back.
And Nicole with the ball, just pointing for the acting half roll here. She actually lives on a yacht full time.
Heaven.
So, lives on a yacht and just has a beautiful life. Third World Cup as we see a breakaway release there. Bibbs, fortunately, caught. Bring on Frankish is Bibbs. She is with the ball now, playing it back for Callis. You see Callis talking to her, talking about the play that they're going to try and construct here. Callis following the drive down. Quick release to the 6. He steps back on the inside. Davis it was looking for the line, but the referee was right there, calls the touch. This is Callis again pulling out. She'll try and set something up. Kim Schmidt. Schmidt with the ball. Frankish into half, long ball over the top. Oh, she needed to dive to score that one then. She slowed down to put the ball down. She had to put her body on the line and dive.
She did, and I think their winger was subbing on at the same time. I think she might have been looking out for that wing, but just needs to commit to that line.
Corin Denny had to put her body on the line. Fortunately for the touch box, it's 35, she couldn't get there. And it is Singapore now rolling forward, doing beautifully. Singapore on the attack, the ball on the outside. Numbers here if they can get there. And it was beautiful, the ball over the top, just put her on the outside of the defender. And there was nothing that they could do about that. The speed of the Singaporean attack. Let's have a look at it. It was Angela Zhang. She skipped out, and then that ball over the top was beautiful. And it is Louise Sanderson that scores for Singapore. But a beautiful setup, and that ball over the top that just slipped to the outside player, and then it was a numbers and pace game.
That was a classy assist. Sometimes you can get caught out in a touch pass with that, just waiting that little bit too long, but the timing on that was absolute perfection. Committed the defender, still got the ball over the top. Lovely work from Singapore.
Oh, you could hear that clearly, couldn't you? It was so loud from the referee. No, you're offside, you're offside. And then try time for the South Africans. They main touch here with the scoreline. Here it is. It is Nicole Temblett, a lady who lives on the yacht. Scores that one for South Africa. And that's 2 apiece now. Two all the score here for Singapore and South Africa. Singapore roll up again over the halfway line. Full set of 6 here. It's down now. Skip pass back to the inside. Switch. Aaron Hart it is there with the ball. Nice release again to the outside. Gary Callis gets the touch. Ends the set. Here they are rolling up again. Terry Callis. Singapore resolute in defence. Coming up off the line. In behind the ruck. That's a nice settle. Davis, I believe. Now, Christy Hall sets it up beautifully for the scoop from half. Up to the line they go. Nice release to the outside. And that's South African try. Quick hands. Beautiful work on the back of great drive. Set up by Christy Hall. Then it was Zondra Barrett-Theron who gets it out to the wing. And another excellent South African team try. Singapore did everything they could to stop that one, but just couldn't get there. Three-2 now, South Africa, the first time they've been in front in the match. Is Singapore on the attack now. Is South Africa now coming off their own line. Warren Denny takes it up the sideline. Fresh legs on. That's Temblett. Picks up Frankish. Frankish back into Template. Nice meters here for South Africa. Through the ruck. Through the ruck was Amy Davis. And the referee tucks into the spot and calls the try. Let's have a look at it here in replay. Could have been a skew dump there, but she went to the left, threw a dummy, and then the late call for touch.
I think she would have been
It was a very late call. She may have been offside. May have been what the referees decided.
She may have later withdrawn the touch call.
It was definitely a late call. As we see now, Singapore rolling forward. Apologies if we're not calling many of the Singaporean players. It's tough to see their numbers from where we're sitting.
Yeah.
Sherlyn Go in half. I can see that one out now for Kohui Neo.
Very close to the line here, Singapore.
That was Karen Hart that was attacking the line, but shut down. Charlton just getting pushed over. They roll on. This is Hall. Jenny into half. Template.
Oh, they look great coming in from their sub-box, don't they, South Africa? The women's 27s were very, very similar. Coming in really at speed in those waves when they come in from their sub-box.
A late pass there. Yes, the referee calls that one. Roll ball here for Singapore. They take it forward. Kohui Neo. And unfortunately that ball goes to ground for Singapore as they come out of their own end. So it is South Africa now, 10 metres into Singapore territory. Alice back into the middle, takes some control. Aaron Nell in the middle. Callis. Nundy Gibbons. Gibbons with the ball. Untouched is the call. Singapore defence comes across in cover. There's Callis driving in behind the line. Defenders offside here. Can they exploit it? That's a beautiful ball from Frankish. Beautiful pass from Bibbs Frankish.
And they still had someone to sub on to the field, so they scored that with 5 on the field.
Let's have a look at it here. You can see there's Frankish into half. Heads up, touch footy. Beautiful delivery right into the hole. And the finish of Kim Schmidt. What a great completion. They skip out now to a 5-2 lead. After being behind, they've really hit their straps now, the South African touch box in the women's 35s. Celebrating Nelson Mandela Day. We spoke about it in an earlier match, but if you weren't around then, Nelson Mandela Day is a day celebrating the sacrifice of the great man Madiba in the Rainbow Nation. And it's 67 minutes of servitude for all South Africans. And the men's 35s here at the World Cup, they're going back to their digs to make some food, which they're then going to take out into the community of Nottingham, the less fortunate, and provide it through a community group. And I'm sure all of the South Africans here, their teams will be doing something to recognise and represent their nation and their culture as they celebrate Nelson Mandela and his contribution.
Oh, so we've got to break through the middle. Oh. Almost made it all the way through there.
It's good penetration. Hall will take the last touch of the half as the siren sounds in the background. But it is South Africa who had a scratchy start, down 2-0 to a gallant Singapore. And it is 5-2 here as we make our way into the halftime break.
Okay, grab some water.
Welcome back to all the action here. The women's 35s fixture between South Africa and Singapore. It is South Africa currently leading 5-2, and they get the opportunity to start us off for the half as they make it up over the halfway line convincingly through Kim Schmidt. And now they are centering it up, just pulling back from the line, trying to drag the defenders up with them. That's Lizette Porter moving the ball to the right side now. Change of pace.
Coming in a sweeper play, Tara Nell, she is on fire today. She's got such pace. She's broken through the Singapore defensive line on more than one occasion. She's with the ball now, sitting up in...
2 touches remain here. This is the final play of the set. A little bit confused around the ruck area there. They just got in each other's way. You can see that confusion on the face of Nundy Gibbons.
Yeah, they had numbers on the right as well, South Africa. But here goes Singapore driving towards their box.
Karen Hart it is there taking the ball forward again. Tough to see the Singapore numbers, so we do apologise if you're watching back home in Singapore.
Oh,
nice
lovely
breakaway
scoop
through the middle. And that was Anita Perry. You saw that number come into focus. Anita looked like she was gone, but the defence closed in upon her.
Yeah, she got past 2 offside defenders, but then someone got her in.
That's Nicole Temblett. Just a stumble from the chaser. Looked like she had it covered. It was Temblett. Got him behind the line. The chasers come across.
She was so close. I think she was just reaching out for that touch and...
Threw her off balance, and she never
Yeah.
really regained the balance, did she? It was an outstanding chase. You have to give great kudos for Anita Perry, but Nicole Temblett.
You can see her drawing in the big ones there. Just unfortunate. I think we've all been there if you play touch when you're chasing someone down and they are literally fingertips away and you reach out and you just can't quite get it.
And I
puts you
don't
off
mean
your
it.
stride.
I don't mean it disrespectfully, but it's like you're running in flippers.
It really, really
It
is.
throws your balance out so much, and she chased her little heart out. I think it was Anita Perry.
Yeah.
And much kudos to her for sticking with the chase as long as she did.
Absolutely.
Sometimes that chase is enough to create doubt in the ball carrier's mind as well. So yeah, huge shout out. As I said, running in flippers, but not in a way of disrespect. Now Singapore back on the attack.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication between the
Maxine
girls
Lamb it
there.
was there. There's a split to the left now. That's Kathleen Crawford. And that was Mui Loon Chu. And the turnover. Now it goes the way of South Africa coming off their own line. Here's Frankish into Terry Callis. Callis puts the ball down. It's Nundy Gibbons. Sorry, that's Amy Davis. Davis again with the ball.
These ladies are rapid through the middle of the field.
Kim Schmidt in half. Sandra Barrett-Theron centers it up. Now they drive forward on the back of that one. Here's Barrett-Theron again. And now a late call for forward pass, I believe it is. Must have come from the sideline referee. You saw the Singaporeans put their hands up and claim it. Didn't look like it was coming their way, and then the referee blew the whistle late. As again, they roll up over the halfway line. Just turned sideways there in the contact. Referee says play on.
Very nice driving up the wing by Singapore and just a fumble taking that ball up. Looks like she almost tripped as well.
Marlena Maud-Cusby, that was it, took the ball into the South African line well, but unfortunately, as you said, just that last step traded an error. That was Di Charlton. Now, an incorrect roll ball. Turnover for Singapore. 10 metres inside South African territory.
Yeah, this is a great platform for Singapore if they can drive it up on the first 3 touches. And
Georgina Patterson it is that got that one down. That's Louise Sanderson. Patterson. Angela Zhang. Zhang gets it down. just a tired pass.
Yeah, and they were shaping up for a very strong attack. You could see the depth that Singapore were standing at in attack, and they were ready to really run onto those balls, but just a loose pass robbed them of an attacking opportunity. Up there as South Africa come through the middle of the field again.
And Davis.
They love this little check back.
Yeah, Davis back to Callis it was there. Hayley Landau had a nice break down the wing. I thought she was away.
Oof.
This is Davis. She'll put the ball under the arm and go all the way. She has raw speed. Here come the spot.
Wow. Lekker.
Yeah, lekker play there from the South Africans.
Look how fast she is.
As soon as she tucked the ball under the arm, I didn't think there would be anyone within Kui. She got it to ground. Came out a little bit screw-if, but she definitely had control as she dropped it to the ground.
Yep, Amy Davis.
Amy Davis.
Second for the game?
That's correct. Quick photo opportunity in the sub box. That's always nice. They do love a photo. And that's what this World Cup's all about too. All the photos being taken around the venue. You see some of these legends that we've talked about. Doesn't matter what country they're from. Stop and have a photo. I'm sure everybody's happy to take photos. My co-commentator here, Mel Day, if you see her floating around, I'm sure she'd love a photo. All the legends.
I wouldn't want to ruin anyone's World Cup experience.
Lever, if you're out there watching, come and have a photo with Mel. We see Singapore back on the attack, shut down by South Africa. Multiple defenders up out of the line there. It's always risky when you're on your own scoreline. Certainly taking the opportunity to get up.
Here goes Singapore again, driving it in.
Sweeper comes around. It is Sherilyn Go.
Sweet, setting up for...
Back to the middle.
And 6 touches.
And Maureen Thompson didn't look real square there. The end of the touches. There's Hayley Landau. Slip ball back on the inside. Nice run from Nundy Gibbons.
This is where South Africa are winning the game. That little passage of play that we just saw.
Lizette Porter there. A little wraparound play was on. And you can see the acknowledgement from Templett. She knew if she had have gotten that pass away, there was an opportunity on the left-hand edge. They get a penalty, so it's Templett there showing the ball. Lizette. That's a nice pass, but didn't find a mark. Bit of a speculator from, I think it was Bibbs. Brion Frankish. Lazy pass, a little bit tired now. It appears that fatigue might be setting in here for the Singaporeans. Just not getting that normal penetration from this drive that they had earlier. But that's a nice screw up.
Yeah, that's much better.
I think that's Marlena Maud Cusby. And on the back of it, they go deep into South African territory.
Yeah, I quite like that play by Singapore, just taking the scoop, taking the extra meters. Putting the South African team on notice that they're willing to do that on their drives.
Templett getting through a ton of work in the number 2 strip. There's Lizette Porter. A little show and go there by Taryn Nell, as you called her earlier. Been dangerous and busy. Davis and Callis. Watch them work together. There's Davis back inside to Callis. Callis gets it down quickly. Now they have numbers if they can move this ball quickly.
Long's on.
Frankish do. They get the long pass out. It was outside. They had a link and a winger almost unmarked. But unfortunately, the ball fell between them. And the execution is all that mattered there.
the wind certainly wasn't helping them, unfortunately. We've seen a few of those right to lefts down out in the field just fall a bit short now.
But now they still aggressively get up off the line, try to cut this Singaporean attack down. They've done well. I think that's a fourth. They're just at the halfway line now. That's a good drive from Singapore. Bends the back of the South African defence. Release. This is the last touch. I thought it was 7. Play on.
No mistakes, no mistakes.
Hear the no mistakes call from the coaching box of South Africa. Numbers are up.
Oh, nice ball over the top.
They defended that one nicely. Could almost be a late pass. The referees here, I think, will just decide to make it a changeover. Into the middle for Callis. Back to Davis, but touched in flight. Just one of the things here the players needing to know. A changeover, it's a roll ball, not a tap. Lucky they didn't lose possession there.
Oh.
Yeah, interference in the ruck. The play on is the call. Nice work from Hayley Landau again. She's been doing great drives. This is another one.
Oh, half
Jessica
right
Brett.
on the mark as well. Just picking up really quickly from
Look at
half.
that pass, gun pass, touched in flight. She has been impressive. Sondra Barrett-Thuron. South African team, they were 2-0 down. Let's not forget that Singapore started on fire, and they've certainly kept the guns cracking. And there's a nice release for a try to South Africa. Scored by number 5, Christy Hall.
Yeah, they look very good, South Africa here. I'm looking at their past results. The only team they've lost to has been Australia, which they lost 10-0. And their key competitor for this potential silver medal in this category is going to be England. And I heard about that game. That was a very, very, very close game. I think England were leading during most of it, and South Africa rolled them at the end 4-3.
Yeah, I heard about that one as well. I heard there was a little bit of disappointment in the England camp.
There was
They weren't happy.
They weren't happy apparently, but looking at this team against Singapore, they look very, very strong. So it doesn't surprise me that they rolled the English, but
7 minutes remain here. So a chance for Singapore to get more points on the board. Georgina Patterson. She's with the ball again, diving for the line. Working with Maureen Thompson in the middle.
and for those people looking at their viewing schedules going forward, one game I would watch is the Women's 35 semi-final. If, as expected, it's between South Africa and England, it would be one hell of a game to watch.
Bit of a firecracker in the women's 35s. There's Thompson. Patterson again. Thompson and Patterson in the middle, but nobody in that hole. You can see Thompson saying, I wanted you here. And you weren't. And just confusion. Not quite sure what was happening there. There's Gibbons getting a good ball down. This is Landau again. A little bit slow here from the South Africans. This is the first time that interchange has looked a little bit sloppy. There's Davis straightening it up again. She steps away.
She is something else.
Just a touch on the foot. She slipped out of that one. Just a diving defense right on the boot. As you said earlier, tough to feel that one as you're making your breakaway. Kim Schmidt puts that one down. There's Callis. Skips away to the left. Numbers now. Hands from Frankish. Hands from Frankish and finds the winger, Hayley Landau. Landau deserves to have a name in the scorebooks here. He has worked tirelessly on this left wing. Great team effort here from South Africa. There hasn't been, there's been a couple of notable performances, but no real standouts. It's been a team victory.
Yeah, it has been very consistent across all members of this South African team. They just look very, very, very solid. And they're making the other team work incredibly hard.
Karen Hart there in the middle of the field. There she is with the ball. And half court. 4.5 minutes remain here. South Africa coming off their own line. They still want to get it done. Barrett Theron with a beautiful offload. There's Hall again. She trucks it forward, puts the ball under the arm. Christy Hall, funnily enough, came across from South Africa and lived with my family for a few years to learn the game of touch. Also studied while she was in Australia. She's gone back to South Africa quite a while ago now and is now currently the secretary of the South African Touch Association. So she's putting back into the sport. Third World Cup here. And mum of a couple of kids and just loving life here at the World Cup, as are all of these South African girls. If you do see them around the traps, if you're watching from the venue or you're here, go and say good day to the South African women's 35s. They're a great bunch of girls. And they love a chat. And they love a jol. A jol. And you'll have a lekker time. Lizette Porter through the middle. Nicole Temblett.
Yeah, they love going into these attacks at pace, don't they? As they hold the ball up now, pulling out the Singaporean defence.
Big Gibbons.
Singapore need to stay up in that defensive line.
This is a little bit clunky here. Most success for South Africa been as they've had momentum. And there's Callis, just a little step off the left foot. She straightened up beautifully, just swung the hips and evaded contact from the defender, who was reaching out despairingly. We'll see it here. There it was, the number 11. That is Marlena Mods Casby, who's worked hard for Singapore. Unfortunately for them, Terry slips away and gets a well-earned try. She has worked incredibly tough through the middle of the field. Terry Callis.
I mean, we talk about the consistency of the South African team, and the scores are fairly well spread across the team. I think we've got 7 try scorers.
7 try scorers.
Across the 14 players, which is quite unusual considering there were only 10 scores on the score sheet.
Sharing that workload as we see Singapore going for the line again. 1.5 minutes remain here. Both teams want to keep ticking the scoreboard over. Barrett Theron, a nice little pass to Hayley Landau, who knew she was right on the sideline, but they've called it forward, or late. Late it was. It was right in front of us. I didn't think it was late.
Yeah, I think it must have been. They'll go forward here.
Chasing to the middle. It's in those circumstances when you're telling the defence to move forward and the attacker actually running sideways. It's hard to. What do I need to do here?
Yeah, especially when South Africa only had one defender up. I think there was opportunity for the go forward, but I think they were just very focused on bringing their subs on the field. As
Karen Hart
attacking dump. Great defence by South Africa.
Yeah, Karen Hart it was with the ball. Number 8 here for Singapore. She's busy around this midfield when she's on. Here she is in half again. Comes to the right, goes through. Now she's broken the line. Can she find a support player?
Here we go. Be patient.
There's bodies.
Lovely. I think that was in.
There's bodies everywhere here. And we're going to call it a try. I don't have a problem with that.
I'm giving that as a try. I think she was touched before she had the ball. That
she was on the ground.
Oh, what a great way to finish.
Let's have a look at it here. That's
the patience of
going
the
across.
half just to hold.
I don't know that she was taken out, actually. When you look at that.
Lovely.
Oh, look, we're going to call it a try, but when you look at that, it was actually friendly fire. The first one went down herself, and then it was, as she was trying to regain her feet, she actually took out the player that eventually scored, and the ball found the mark on the ground, and that is a great way to end the match. Congratulations to both teams. South Africa taking that one out, 10 tries to 3, and that's a good run into finals here for the South Africans, or good preparation and setup for the final series. And that completes that match. We'll bring the next round of games to you shortly, and we're going to take a break.